Welcome to BNOW, where we talk about what is happening in and around Brampton. As you saw in the beginning there, the nice little clip, we have the cherry blossoms falling in Gage Park, and Fazell shot that earlier this week. Fazell is joining me now. How you doing, Fazell?
I'm good, Don. I'm not sure if people saw that because I think we went live a little bit too late. But anyways,
Too late.
I can show it again. You want me to show it
Yeah,
again?
show it again. Sure, why not?
Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Here we go. I spent a lot of time making this, so.
Yeah. That looks good. What's wrong with that?
Well, nobody saw it. Now they did.
Okay. Well, is that the only? That's the only cherry tree in Gage Park, correct?
I think so, but
Yeah.
that's just right at the very corner of Wellington and Maine. So.
Right, that's the entrance. So the thing is, if people went down to Maine and Nanwood, or Nanwood, Maine and Nanwood, in the park across the way, there's about 20 or 30 of those.
Yeah, and I think I saw as I got post some photos. I forget what park he was in. So there are these cherry trees across the city, but you know what? I don't think they have much time because if you saw that video, they were falling at a pretty fast pace.
It's funny, this time of the year, you have the cherry tree, the cherry blossoms, and if you ever go to Paris this time of the year, it's the same thing. They bloom and then boom, they're gone. And magnolias are the same type of tree. They just bloom and then the first rain, they're all gone. So,
So I taped that yesterday. I was at Gage Park. It felt like the first day of summer. I was doing something else there. I sat down there for 10, 15 minutes, and there must have been 6 or 7 different people come up to the tree and start taking flowers. I couldn't get a shot without people in it. I think if you look closely at the shot I showed, there's people behind the tree. But
yeah, when people go up there, it takes a nice picture and everything else. And, we go directly from winter into summer almost. Like last year was the same thing. They've reached their peak. Well, yeah. They've reached their peak just like a lot of things, Karen.
Like you and I, we've passed our peak, Don.
Yeah, and some politicians. Anyway, the other telltale sign that that summer is coming in Brampton is I see a lot of the Peel Regional Police talking about a lot of there's a couple of shootings and there's more robberies lately across the Peel Region web or Twitter feed. And the thing is, we have more racing cars up and down Beauvais and the main highways. You can hear them already.
Yeah, and we keep forgetting about auto thefts, but auto thefts are up like I think 65% year over year, and from last year was already up. So yeah, it's kind of just commonplace now, right?
Yeah, but it's funny because we used to get the Peel Regional Police stats, but we never get the crime stats. All we did was when we were running the Neighborhood Watch program, we had the break-ins, we had the auto thefts, but there was never any crime stats. But I'm looking at Twitter. In the last 2 weeks, I see a lot of, like I said, robberies and a lot of gun stuff. So let's hope it's not an increase in the crime statistics throughout the city of Brampton. But
well, and that's the challenge with Peel Police, right? If you have your own, studio to tape videos and you've got social media and you're constantly putting out content kind of showing crime in the city, well, people start believing there's crime everywhere. So without stats, without live data, which we don't get from Peel Police, right? We get their aggregated data like 6 months or a year later. We don't know. And so, I think the politicians should really do something about that. Make the data public so that we can see in real time and not have to rely on Peel Police to show the information.
Yeah, and if the crime stats are going down, back it up with data, and it's got to be current data, not a year or two later, because it's actually useless. Then it basically becomes useless data. Current data is essential, and in that way, you take a look at your police budget. Is crime statistics? They always say, well, there's a lot of robberies and stuff, but it's down over the last year, and blah blah blah. Blah. Okay, it should be real-time data. How can it not be every month? You could see the numbers and track the data.
Well, and Peel Police will say, well, they have their crime tracking map, but that does not export data, right? So you see the last 30 days, that's it. You can't do year-over-year comparisons. You can't download any information. So, that's what they're using as kind of a crutch to say, hey, yeah, we got this crime map, but you can't do anything with that. Who's going to go and look at that every day? Nobody.
Yeah, and it's just basically, you don't know where it's tracking, right? So it could change. It doesn't make a difference. I see that going into something else, I see that the Region Appeal, they put through their 30-year program for housing. It's getting a lot of flack basically because they're taking 11,000 acres and turning it into basically semi-detached and single housing throughout the northern part, mostly where the 413 and Doug Ford's, donors are going to be. And it seems that, you're killing off thousands of acres of farmland right across that top belt. So that's what they call their places to grow. But, we talked about politicians about intensification and densification. But this is not it. This places to grow. They're basically growing single and semi-detached housing all across these places. And I'm wondering, like, how much of this actual land use was allocated towards employment land and is now being flipped over to residential, right?
Yeah, and I really don't have opinions on this, to be honest, because to me, farmland should be left as farmland, and we should intensify. But it's hard for me to say that because I live in a single-family house myself, right? You live in, it's hard for us to say these things that we should densify when we ourselves are not doing it.
Well, the thing is, if you take a look at it, I mean, you have the opportunity to densify. I know there was down in Nelson Street in downtown Brampton, they were talking about putting up another apartment building right next to the one that was already down there. And you had all the people complaining, whining and bitching that they were putting another one up. Well, that's what's called intensification and densification. And cities can do that. Right, the province cannot mandate. They're talking about 700,000 people over the next 30 years are coming to Peel Region. You got to house them. Okay, so fine. What's wrong with an apartment building or condos? What's the problem there? I don't get it. Plus, in that budget, there's actually 0% of affordable housing being built.
I did see a program or a pilot program from the Region Appeal. I don't know much details about it, but they were giving grants and loans to people who were going to make their basement apartments legal, but then also offer kind of lower rents in exchange for these grants and loans to finish their basements. I'm not sure how that pilot project is going, but that's, but at the same time, we'll have the same issue, right? People complaining about
because a basement apartment, you're not going to live there for 30 years. I mean, people want to either buy their own house or, have an apartment or have a condo or something like that. If all they're being offered is single and semi-detached houses, well, it's going to be a lot of money. It's a big step, right?
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of politicians at all levels of government making lots of money, and there's lots of staff, and you and I should not be the ones coming up with solutions, right? There's lots of people who should be.
Yeah, unfortunately, with this, especially in the Peel Region, you had a lot of concerned citizens actually delegating in front of Peel Region, talking about they didn't want this, and the politicians asked for the people's input. And they just turned around and ignored it. Yeah. And here's the thing. Staff said basically they were making their decision on historical data for development strategy. Well, if you're using historical data, Brampton and Peel Region has been built up with single and semi-detached housing. So your historical data is already skewed towards the same data that you're going to build it for. There is no affordable housing. There's no apartment building. There's not really that many apartment buildings or condos. So if your historical data is already set in stone, well, you're going to get the same result time after time using the same historical data. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic.
Anyway, we'll cover that a little bit. I'm looking for a guest. I know Mike Schreiner would love to come on and talk about that, but I'm looking for a guest for that. So if anyone out there knows someone who wants to come on and talk about the Peel Regional Strategy for 30 years, please contact me. The other one is, what are we going to talk about? The provincial election. You wanted to talk about something going on in the Liberal Party up in the north?
Yes, so there's some breaking news. I don't have all the details, but I think it's at Sault Ste. Marie. The Liberals have basically, expelled the candidate that they acclaimed just yesterday or the day before. So there was an Indigenous lawyer who had put her name forward with all her credentials. And, I didn't write her name down. I'm sorry. And she was highly qualified. And the Liberal Party said, you know what, we don't have enough time to vet you. So instead, we're going to give it to this high school teenager student who lives 3 hours away from the riding. So that hit I think Warren Kinsella broke the news today, and by the end of the day, that teenager candidate was out, and now I don't even think they have a candidate. And the Indigenous lawyer is running as an independent.
Sometimes party politics is ridiculous. I mean, like take Kevin Yardy, for instance, right? Kevin Yardy didn't live in Brampton when he ran for the NDP. He got elected here, and he represented, what is it, Brampton? Was it Brampton North? I think it was Brampton North.
Yeah.
And then they turned around, and he's a sitting MP. Or MPP, and they don't actually confer him as the candidate.
They make him go through the whole nomination process, and apparently pulled some backroom kind of scenarios to put him as the underdog. So
right. So now he's sitting as an independent, and he's probably running as an independent.
Yeah.
Right. So, the person now taking his place, and I know Andrew Horvath says, well, we'll look into it and blah, 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 blah. But and I know the NDP, when they select their candidates, they go through, like, I would be the last candidate for the NDP, right? There's, they start off saying, if you're a woman, or if you're Indigenous, blah, 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 blah. The last person to be elected on any NDP ballot is a white person, right? So a white male.
You're a little older, so you qualify as certain categories.
Well, I could qualify into the old age scenario, but beyond that, who knows, right?
But this is a challenge. We've talked about it just between you and I. The party's had 4 years since Doug Ford got elected to fill their candidates, the Green Party, the NDP, the Liberals, and to get to this stage and not have candidates. What does it say about your party?
And it makes no sense for the riding association to wait 3.5 years to actually put somebody out there. It's like there's got to be people that want to go and give them an opportunity to actually start the campaign ahead of time. Like, it makes no sense to me, and I just don't get it. Right? I just don't get it. Maybe they're looking for someone and they parachute people in, right? In the meantime, you're talking about that they had the debate up north with the leaders today, right? And Doug Ford apparently was the only leader that basically had to exit that debate forum pretty quick. So all the other leaders stayed there to answer questions. Doug Ford took off like a bullet.
You know what? I don't blame the guy, right? It's like,
well, you're the premier. You got to. It's like we talked about before. When is the next time you're going to have scrums? Now they still have the phone in, and reporters are only allowed 2 questions. Okay, guys, if the pandemic is over, have scrums and put the hard questions to Doug Ford, because we mentioned it before. What is the Ontario PC party actually done for anyone in Brampton?
Did you not get a check back for your license plate stickers?
That's across the province. I'm talking Brampton specific. What did they promise to build this? If they actually had promised to do the hospital when they got elected to power, the hospital might already be built by now, because that was approved by the Wynne government, and they canceled it. They canceled the Ryerson University program when they got in for $90 million. What have they done for Brampton? You tell me what the Conservative government has done. I'm not talking about the Liberals or talking about the NDP, but their platform is, we've done a lot for Brampton. What have they?
You got the bribe check. That's all I can point to.
That's Ontario. I'm talking about anything else. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. It's June 2nd, so the polls are out. We'll follow that going forward.
I was saying early on it was going to be a Doug Ford minority. Now, Doug Ford majority. The other parties are incompetent. They're incompetent.
Well, they're all incompetent. It's just a matter of degrees, right?
Ricky agrees with me. I don't know if he's going to be. I think he's agrees with me.
I see that, Nikki has joined us. She calls me beautiful. Thank you. Bring that up. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Nikki. So apparently Nikki was doing a video we saw, and she was opening, I guess the Brampton Cricket League is open. They're bite your tongue. That's, I think, in response to the response to the Doug Ford majority, right?
Well, come on, Karen, you got to agree with me. I know you're hoping to oust Doug Ford, but you look at the competition. That's the problem. It's not that Doug Ford is the greatest premier since whoever. It's the competition is so bad.
Well, we'll see what happens, right? We'll be covering that from June 2nd, but it's like, it's in one big cluster. I see that Collision Conference is coming to, you're scared. That's because you live with Mike. That's your husband. You're, like, we could go into that further, Karen, but,
So we had a 15-minute time limit, Don.
Yeah, right? I know. We're cutting it pretty close. So because I know we have to do something probably, and we're running a tight schedule here. Quickly, the Collision Conference is coming to Toronto, but I think there's something happening at the Rose Theatre as well. That's the fourth largest tech conference in North America. So I don't know what they're going to be holding at the Rose. I know it's not cheap. The tickets, I think, start at $645.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's not cheap, right?
This is not for the event on the 18th at the Rose Theatre. This is
I don't know, but if you go to Collision Conference, the tickets for Toronto are like 600. That's general admittance is 645.
Yeah, but nobody pays that, Don.
Nobody.
You got to know somebody. You got to free tickets from vendors, and like if you're paying that, there's something wrong with you. You shouldn't be in tech.
Nikki says that basically, yeah, she was calling me beautiful, right?
Well, so if she's not calling you beautiful, then Don, she must be calling me beautiful.
Yeah, well, maybe she is. Who knows? Mr. Ivan, we're back again. How's it going? How's it going with you, Ivan? Good. Anyway, listen, last week we said we were going to get someone on from the Liberal Party to talk about Stellantis and their big announcement for the Brampton auto plant. Ruby has been busy, but she's promised to join us on the 24th to talk about that, talk about the Canada Summer Jobs Program as well, which is operated through the federal grant. And we're going to talk about...
Thanks for reminding me of that, Don. So we got a lot of funding to hire students this summer. And I'm also affiliated with another nonprofit in the environmental space who also got funding for students. So if you have a student over the age of 15, please have them contact Don at citystudio.ca and he'll forward their resume or the LinkedIn. Actually, just have them send their LinkedIn profile to Don. And if they don't have a LinkedIn profile, this is the goodest time.
It's a good time to make one up, right? So you can join LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to pay any money. The first part of it is if you want to go further, then you pay a subscription. We're both nuts. Yes, we are, because we know you. That's probably what drove us nuts, right?
Can you tell me more about this?
What is this? The Collision Conference?
It's probably I don't know. It's probably a picture. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I can't see it. Yeah, I see the OBJ, so I don't know what that is, Ivan. But Anyway, listen. We have a very tight schedule tonight. We can't go the full half hour, so we're going to cut it short. We're going to talking about the grants.
So the federal government has a grant program called the Canada Summer Jobs Program, where they basically subsidize the salaries of young people. So we've been doing that for the last 5-6 years. It's a great program because there's no cost to us other than our time and resources, and all the money goes directly to students. So we have a number of jobs that are 8 weeks, 35 hours a week, $15 an hour, and a few 16 weeks. The 16 weeks ones have to start by Monday, so we're trying to fill those quickly. And those are probably going to be mostly university students. So if you know anybody, Ivan, let them forward their LinkedIn profile to Don at citystudio.ca.
And a lot of times, I mean, we hire successive students from year after year. Some of them go on to good paying jobs and everything else. And part of the things that we bring them are different skill sets. And that's part of what we do. So the other big thing happening tonight, apparently, I guess the Leafs game is on at 7:30 tonight, I believe. And they're going to be showing it at the big screen down at Garden Square. So,
is that hockey, Don? Is that hockey?
That is hockey. Yes, we're still in the hockey phase.
I just watch basketball and baseball.
Okay. Well, the Leafs, I think the series is tied up 2-2, and they lost pretty bad the last 7-2. I think they lost. So,
do you want me to make predictions on hockey and the Leafs?
Well, I'm not a Leaf fan, so because I've actually lived my life where I'm a Montreal Canadian fan, and we won like 5 Stanley Cups in a row when I was growing up. So it's like I know success and I know how it feels. Unfortunately, most of the Leaf fans, the last one was in 1967, they haven't felt that warm, fuzzy feeling of actually winning a Stanley Cup and having a parade. So it's like I feel sorry for them because, I'm a Jays fan and I love the Jays, right? But the Leafs, I mean, you're only set in for, if you're a Leaf fan, you're set in for a lifetime of disappointment, right? 1967, I don't think anybody's alive since 1967, right? So it's like, for me, a Montreal Canadian, yeah, we're in line for the number 1 draft pick this year. So we're in a rebuilding mode. So, well, Nikki would back a loser.
She
right?
just jinxed them there. That's a jinx.
Yeah.
Jinxed them.
Anyway, next week we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. We still got the Friends of Beauvert house with that $1 million barn we're going to talk about, and 2 missing reports.
Well, there's some new developments too, Don. There is now a $1.5 million catwalk. You don't know about that one.
That one I heard, and then there's also some of the councillors are trying to get their legal bills paid by the city, which means that you, the taxpayer, are paying legal bills for the city councillors. So we're going to be talking. We have to get a few more details on it, but those are things upcoming. And in the meantime, the 24th, Ruby Sahota is going to be on. So for all you Leaf fans, enjoy the game. Hopefully they win for you guys. But, are they going to win the cup this year, Faz? I don't think so.
One last thing, Don. The first official conservative leadership debate is on Thursday, and our mayor's on there. So hopefully
that's true. I don't know where it's being held in Edmonton, but I do not know where it's being or if it's being televised. So I haven't seen that. So if we have an opportunity to get little samples of it, then we will, and we'll be able to play them next Tuesday as well. But I think he'll do a very good job. Everyone knows our mayor here. Everyone knows how well he's known throughout the community and a lot of stuff he's done. So good luck to Mayor Patrick Brown and the Conservative next, this Thursday in Edmonton.
All right, Don. Talk to you next week.
Thanks.